If you've used an online calculator to calculate your calorie deficit and you've been hitting your numbers perfectly, but the scale still isn't moving, then this video is for you. The old way of calculating your calorie deficit by simply using just an online calorie calculator is no longer the most effective way to do it. It fails to account for the unique metabolic differences in women through many stages of life. In today's video, I'm gonna give you the only 3-step system you need to calculate your calorie deficit to see effective and long-term sustainable fat loss results. So I wanna get right into it, but of course, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get a notification whenever I release a new video. Let's start by going over the reasons why just using an online calorie calculator will not be effective for you to see long-term weight loss or fat loss results. The core principle of fat loss remains the same. You must be in a calorie deficit and consuming fewer calories than your body burns to achieve weight loss or fat loss. The problem isn't in the principle, the problem is in the calorie deficit numbers that these online calculators spit out. Now, although these are a great starting point, they are notoriously inaccurate for 2 main reasons. One, these formulas often overestimate your total daily energy expenditure, and they don't take into account how much metabolically active muscle tissue you have on your body. And the second reason is the biggest flaw, which is the activity multiplier. Most people select moderately active, which states it's active 3 to 4 times a week, when in reality, they might be lightly active or sedentary. This single mistake by selecting the wrong activity level can be a difference in 300 to 500 calories in your calorie deficit number, which in turn will instantly wipe out your deficit. This is where we need to move beyond the calorie calculator or use it as a starting point and start listening to our bodies. How are we gonna do that? Let's talk about the most effective way to calculate your calorie deficit for long-term sustainable fat loss. Step 1, you're gonna calculate your conservative starting point. So you're gonna start by using a reliable online TDEE calculator. So that's your total daily energy expenditure. I will link my favorite one in the video description below. What you're gonna do is always select the lowest possible activity level. So for example, if you work a desk job and you walk about 5,000 steps a day, you're going to select sedentary. If you work out 3 to 4 times a week, so if you are exercising 3 to 4 times a week for 45 minutes to an hour, but then you are sedentary the rest of the day, you're going to choose lightly active. After you do that, that's gonna give you your total daily energy expenditure. That's the total number of calories your body should burn in a day. And now for the deficit. Once you have your total daily energy expenditure, the normal advice would be to subtract 250 calories from that number for a slight deficit, or 500 calories from that number for a larger deficit. But my personal opinion is to use a percentage versus a calorie number. And the sweet spot for women's fat loss is to use a 15 to 20% deficit from your TDEE. For example, if your total daily energy expenditure is 2,000 calories a day, a 20% deficit is 400 calories, which brings your starting target to 1,600 calories a day. Why do we use a percentage? This is because a 500 calorie deficit for, say, a petite woman with a 1,500 calorie TDEE will bring her down to 1,000 calories a day, and actually turns out to be a 33% deficit, which can lead to metabolic crash, muscle loss, and of course being hangry and low energy all the time. Whereas if we take 20% from that 1,500 calories, that's only a 300 calorie deficit. So that leaves her with 1,200 calories a day, which is a little bit more realistic than 1,000 calories. And again, that is on the steeper side. So we're saying 15 to 20% deficit from that total daily energy expenditure number as a starting point. So after you've calculated your calorie deficit and the starting point for you, Step 2 is the most critical. Hey guys, I just want to take a minute and pause this video to tell you about something I am so excited about and have been working on behind the scenes for you specifically. We have such a great community of women here on YouTube watching my videos, commenting below, messaging me, asking me questions, doing online coaching with me. I wanted to create a community where we could all connect closer. I want to connect with more of you in a more personalized way so I can help you even further from my videos achieve your fat loss or body recomposition goal. This is why I created my new Lift You community. This is a private coaching-based community for women who are sick of dieting and are ready for sustainable strength, fat loss, and confidence. Inside Lift You, I'm gonna coach you through my LIFT method, which I created to make it as simple as possible to see sustainable fat loss results. So no matter where you are on your fat loss journey, you know where to start and what to focus on in each phase. I created this community to further connect with all of you in a more personalized way. In this community, you'll get live weekly coaching calls with me, strength training support, nutrition support, mindset coaching, and the best part, a community of women from all over the world, just like you, cheering you on, supporting you, and holding you accountable. If you can't tell, I'm extremely excited about this, and I can't wait to see you guys in the group. So if you're ready to live intentionally, fuel your body, and train with purpose, then click the link below and join us in Lift You. This is the 2-week, what we call the metabolic test. What you're gonna do for the next 14 days, so 2 whole weeks, you're gonna treat that calorie deficit number you calculated as your calorie target. So for the next 2 weeks, you're gonna consistently hit that calorie target number or as close to it as you can without going over. And then every single morning for those 14 days, you're going to track your weight in the morning at the exact same time. So wake up, go to the washroom, weigh yourself, write it down. Not because we are looking for extreme weight loss or because this is the magic pill and I'm finally gonna drop 20 pounds in 2 weeks. It's because we are doing a 2-week experiment to better know how many calories your body burns and how many calories your body needs to function, as well as to see weight loss or fat loss. This is also a great way to start building a healthier relationship with the scale and understand scale fluctuations. And then after those 14 days, what you're gonna do is compare your average starting weight, so the weight between day 1 and day 3, take that average to your ending average weight, so the weight between day 12 and day 14. And if your average weight went down by 1 to 2 pounds, congratulations, you calculated your true calorie deficit, and keep going. If your average weight stayed the same, your number that you calculated is actually your maintenance calorie number, which means you now need to drop your calories by about 100 or 200 calories per day. Then if your average weight went up, your total daily energy expenditure is maybe a little bit lower than you thought it was. Then you need to drop your calories by another 300 per day and do the test again. This 2-week test will account for inevitable tracking errors and just the metabolic reality of your body, giving you a number that is more personalized than just a number spit out from a calorie deficit calculator. Because we're talking calorie deficit and we're talking about weight loss specifically, I want to touch base quickly on body recomposition versus weight loss, which is basically results beyond the scale. So as you are starting this journey, you need to decide if your goal is strictly weight loss, so you don't care about body composition, you don't care about building or maintaining muscle mass, and you just want to see that number on the scale go down, you are going to strictly calculate your calorie deficit for weight loss. If you are looking for body recomposition, that means you are looking to increase lean muscle while you're dropping body fat, which means you might not see the results on the scale like you would in a weight loss journey. You are going to track your progress in different ways. I feel like for most women I work with, as much as they want to see a number on the scale, their true goal is usually to look a certain type of way. I want to appear leaner, I want to see muscle definition, I want a smaller waist, I want bigger glutes. This comes down to body recomposition versus strictly weight loss. So then how do we calculate our calorie deficit for body recomposition? So if your primary goal is body recomposition, meaning you're looking to increase lean muscle and drop body fat at the same time, your calorie deficit strategy needs a slight adjustment. So what do we change? 1, a smaller deficit. So in the strictly weight loss calorie deficit, we said to subtract 15 to 20% from your TDEE. When you are looking at body recomposition, we want to go a little bit more conservative with a 10 to 15% deficit from your total daily energy expenditure. That smaller deficit will provide your body enough energy to fuel intense workouts and support muscle protein synthesis, which is critical for muscle growth and muscle retention. The larger your deficit is, the harder it is to gain and maintain muscle mass. You would go through and calculate your total daily energy expenditure the same way I explained in the weight loss phase, and then instead of subtracting the 15 to 20% of your calories, you would subtract only 10 to 15. Of course, 15% being a steeper deficit, 10% being a little bit less of a deficit, and still do that same 2-week test I talked about earlier when our goal was weight loss. But here's the kicker. Although you're going to do the 2-week test, you also want to track your progress beyond the scale. And this is the most important part about a body recomposition. The scale can be very misleading. Muscle is much more dense than fat. So you might be losing fat and gaining muscle, but that could result in little to no change on the scale. This is where non-scale metrics become very vital to keeping you motivated. Here's how tracking progress in weight loss versus body recomposition differs. I'm just going to pull up this table right here to make it very simple to understand. So let's look at the progress metric of scale weight. So if our focus is weight loss, of course, the primary indicator is going to be the number on the scale. If our focus is body recomposition, it's going to be a secondary indicator because it may fluctuate or stay the same. Our body measurements, with weight loss, they are a good secondary indicator, but in body recomposition, this is a primary indicator. So measuring our waist, our hips, our arms, our thighs. Progress photos, also a good secondary indicator if your focus is weight loss. It's a primary indicator if our focus is body recomposition. So visual changes in muscle definition and fat loss. Strength gains, weight loss focus, of course, a secondary-ish. If you're not strength training and you're not caring about building muscle or maintaining muscle, kind of a secondary. Of course, everybody should be strength training even if your goal is weight loss, but this is also a primary indicator of progress. If you're lifting heavier, if you're doing more reps, if you're feeling good in your workouts, if you're getting less sore, all of these are progress indicators in a body recomposition. And then lastly, how your clothes fit. So of course, a good secondary indicator also with weight loss, but a primary indicator of body recomposition. So your clothes are fitting better, they feel looser, they feel good, and you're feeling much better in your own skin. And then last thing I want to touch base on, even though this is a calorie deficit calculator video, is the non-calculator factors. Because honestly, even if you calculate the right calorie deficit and you're crushing that, it's useless if you're not taking into account all these other factors, such as number one, your protein intake. So again, your muscle preserver. In a deficit, your body will burn muscle for energy. So the high protein intake is kind of your shield to protect your muscle. Also gonna help you feel full for longer. If you're eating in a calorie deficit, you're going to feel more hungry, you're gonna feel less energy. So keeping your protein intake high is gonna help you feel good while you're eating in this calorie deficit, which in turn makes it easier to stay in your calorie deficit because it'll keep cravings down and keep your energy levels up. Protein also has a higher thermic effect of food, meaning you burn more calories just digesting protein than any other macronutrient. Second important factor is sleep. This is your hormone regulator. If you are sleeping less than 7 hours, you are sabotaging your calorie deficit. And again, I know some of us can't help it. If you are sleeping less than 7 hours because you're staying up all night watching Netflix, you are sabotaging your deficit. Lack of sleep not only gives you less energy to get up in the morning or at any point in the day to do your workouts and crush your workouts, it also increases the hormone ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, and decreases the hormone leptin, which is the satiety hormone. So this is going to increase your cravings and make you feel hungrier, which in turn will make it so much harder to stick to your deficit. And then the last factor you want to pay attention to is your NEAT, so your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, what you could call the metabolic accelerator. So this is the calories you burn from doing everything but your formal exercise sessions. That's walking from your car to the grocery store. That's walking upstairs to get the laundry and walking back downstairs. So the problem here is when you go into a calorie deficit, your body naturally lowers your metabolism to protect your energy. And then on top of that, if you're sitting more and you're moving less, this is also going to decrease your total daily energy expenditure. So the fix, you have to consciously just be aware of increasing your daily movement. This can sometimes be the key of seeing results in fat loss and not seeing results in fat loss. So aiming for a daily step count, 6,000 or 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. I've spoken about this in other videos that I've posted in the past, is sometimes, well, I work out 7 days a week. But you go to the gym, you do your 1 hour workout, and then you come home and you sit for the rest of the day. That doesn't guarantee that you're still gonna see results, where you are losing windows of opportunity there to add more movement into your day and overall just increase your daily calorie burn, which in turn will increase your deficit and help with your weight loss or fat loss. So there you go, guys. That is the simplest and most accurate way to calculate your calorie deficit, because remember, just because Sally next door is losing weight on 1,500 calories doesn't mean you will lose weight on 1,500 calories. You have to make sure you go through the steps and take your time to learn and listen to your body, and it will pay off in the long run. Because remember, the goal for everybody should be sustainable fat loss, not a quick fix, not a 2-week drop 20 pounds quickly that you can't stick to and you're gonna gain it all back in a week. Well, there you go, guys. I will link my favorite online calorie calculators below that you can use to get your initial number following the steps I pointed out in the video earlier. Make sure to check out the link in the video description to my new community if you want to work with me more closely. And sometimes it's just having someone to, once you do all these calculations, to run them by and be like, am I doing this right? Did I calculate all this correctly? What should I do here? I will be in that community daily, answering your questions, going live, giving you feedback, motivating you. And the best part is that you will be in there with a group of other women the same age as you, going through the same things as you with the same goals. And we are all going to motivate and support each other. I'll leave a link in the video description for more information on how you can join us in my online community. And of course, leave any questions in the video comments below. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you in the next one.